We didn't have to wait long for Cooper Flagg to face his first big college test while wearing a Duke uniform. It was an awesome game, came down to the wire, and a really experienced and a really, really good defensive Kentucky team pulled it out at the end. But Cooper Flagg gave us a ton on tape to dive into. We're going to look at the scoring, the rebounding, the defense, the ball handling, the passing, the good, the bad, and everything in between. It was a really fun game and a really, really good starting spot for us to kind of continue this year-long evaluation of Cooper Flagg, as this was the first of many really high-level matchups that he's going to have to deal with. I'm Tyler Metcalf. Welcome to Film School. Let's dive in. Let's start with Flagg's on-ball creation in this game. Shooting and scoring-wise, he finished 9 of 19 overall, 1 of 5 from 3. We'll get into it. 7 of 9 from the line. Really good free throw numbers there. But the shot and the handle are kind of the two biggest offensive question marks with Flagg coming into this season. And while he doesn't have this dynamic, quote unquote bag where he's going to consistently break defenders down, it's simple moves like this little hang dribble into a crossover, which is his favorite. He did this a ton throughout high school, and he did it a lot in this game against Kentucky, and it allows him to get to a bunch of different spots on the floor really efficiently and really effectively. So just a little hang dribble, crosses over, gets to the elbow, rises up. It's not complicated, but at his size, with his length and that release point, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. We'll get into some of the issues with the handle later, especially later in this game, but just simple stuff like this is a really, really good foundation point for Flagg to start out with, because it's something he's comfortable with, it's really effective, and it's incredibly hard to defend. Again, just attacks middle, little hang dribble, one step to the elbow, gets to a spot. This is really difficult to defend, and if he's going to consistently knock this down, it's a great go-to move for him. On this one, we see Flagg kind of implement that same variation of a hang dribble, just a little hesitation move, targets a specific defender. He did that with Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea all night. Doesn't get a bucket here, but draws a foul, so he's just going to come off this pin down, get it at the top of the arc, and immediately go into a pick and roll with Sion James to target Jackson Robinson here. As he comes off the screen, Robinson's going to step, and that little just kind of hesitation right there, the clip we just saw, he hit a pull-up jumper basically from this exact spot. That little hesitation gets Robinson to just step up a little bit, come out of his stance just a little bit. That gives Flagg the opportunity to attack downhill, gets Robinson leaning one direction. Flagg does a really good job of implementing a little craft. This was one of the better displays of what his handle could continue to grow into, as he does a really good job of spinning back against Robinson's momentum here. From here, help defender has to reach in and dig. If not, that's probably a dunk, or at least getting challenged by Amari Williams at the rim. Draws a foul. Just a really nice display of kind of that ability to build off of that staple of a move that we saw in the first clip, that little hang dribble hesitation, and then kind of add counter moves on top of that and manipulate defenders. So again, Flagg doesn't have this overly dynamic handle, but he's showing us a foundation of things that he can consistently build on going forward. Again, almost identical situation here with Flagg, top of the arc, gets the screen, gets the defender that he wants, uses a little hang dribble, gets to his spot with ease. So he's going to come off this pin down and just go straight into pick and roll. Caleb Foster gets Maluach out of there because Cooper Flagg wants to target Kobe Brea here. Sends him out, clears out. They get the switch, and from here, a little crossover, hang dribble, that little left to right hang dribble into the crossover. A couple clips ago, we saw him use that and pull up. But here, Brea's just kind of staying at the level, and Flagg knows that he has a massive size advantage here. So Brea does a good job of trying to play with some physicality. Flagg secures it through the help defender's dig there, but he's just too big, too strong for Brea to deal with. He gets there, gets the shot off before the help defender can rotate over, and it's just bully ball. But again, it's all building off of identifying the defender that he wants to target and go after, and then using just a simple little hang dribble into a crossover. That's his kind of go-to initial dribble move whenever he's attacking, that especially left to right. Really big fan of that. And throughout this game, we just kind of saw him steadily build off of it and implement a whole bunch of different ways, whether it was hang dribble into the pull-up, driving, finishing through contact, or showing a little bit more finesse and craft and spinning and drawing a foul. No hang dribble on this one, but a little bit more creativity with the handle. It's a little loose, but again, we can see how easily Flagg can just get to his spots. So as he's going to drive to his left there, Andrew Carr does a good job of kind of cutting that off, and Flagg promptly counters with behind the back. Little loose here, and that's something he's going to have to clean up in time. You would imagine that gets a little tighter, a little crisper, but for now and in this move, it's effective enough where he's able to kind of change direction, get back downhill, attack to his right, elevate, gets off the floor before the defender can react, and knocks down an 8-foot jumper. At that point, if his handle continues to get a little tighter right there specifically, that's going to be a really difficult move for any defender to stop going forward. Sorry, Kobe Brea, but again, Cooper Flagg is targeting you over and over throughout this game. Again, signals for the screen. He wants Brea, goes at him. Again, bully ball against a smaller defender. And this is just easy. It's a little too easy right there. We see him signal for the screen to come. Knipple sets the screen. Kentucky switches this way too easily. Brea doesn't want to switch it. We can see how much further towards the middle he is, because he's trying to get back over. He wants his teammate to get through this, to stay rim side, to not make this switch, but his teammate can't get through. He has to switch. Now Brea has to pretty kind of, well, not totally aggressively, but now reconfigure his positioning from the middle of the floor, middle of the lane, back out to the elbow where Flagg is kind of attacking now, and Flagg just crosses over, goes back against Brea's momentum, gets to the spot, gets to the top of the restricted area, and these are the types of shots he has to convert. These are free points. He should be finishing through this contact. That's not a hard enough foul for Flagg to miss this layup. And that's 2 points that he misses out on, but just a really simple, effective dribble moves and ability to play bully ball, and he is nowhere near as strong as he's going to get. The broadcast did us the favor of showing this overhead view too, and I think it does it's just kind of fun to see the angles and just the space that Flagg has to operate here. And it really further emphasizes how much Brea did not want to switch this screen. So we can see how far over he is. If he was planning on switching, he'd probably be up there. Interesting counter, potentially blitz that again, or blitz that, force it out of his hands, and not give him all this space. But since Brea was trying to avoid the switch and gives Flagg all of this space to attack downhill, Flagg is basically able to calmly and patiently get to a spot and do whatever he wants, because that is, for someone of Flagg's talent, to attack that much space going downhill, that's an absolute gift from the defense. I loved this kind of use of creating the mismatch by Flagg here, and not just we've seen him do this throughout the entire game, but it is all perimeter based. And this one, he finally goes down into the post to fully utilize his size and manipulate this mismatch. So instead of kind of creating the mismatch in an on-ball capacity, he's going to do it by coming to set the screen for Tyrese Proctor. By setting the screen and rolling, he's now able to pull Jackson Robinson down into the post with him. From here, that there's a lot of space there to deliver an entry pass. Tyrese Proctor doesn't see it. Instead, he's swinging it to Knipple to allow Flagg to set up down here on the post. Again, really good job of creating the seal, high hand, showing a target for Knipple to feed him in the post. Knipple does, and by the time Flagg receives it, Jackson Robinson's so far out of position that he is surrendering the entire baseline. I believe that's Brandon Garrison isn't in position to help. Flagg, quick little peek over his left shoulder. He can feel that Robinson's really aggressively on his left side. He's going to counter that with just a really effortless and quick spin move to over his right shoulder. Robinson is leaning on him. Flagg spins the other way. Robinson goes the wrong direction, and Flagg's able to beat Garrison, the help defender, to the rim because of how quick and decisive that spin move is. Just a good example of the kind of versatility and footwork that Cooper Flagg has in his offense. Unfortunately for Flagg, the handle and the questions and the looseness of it came to fruition a decent amount too. It wasn't all good in terms of on-ball creation from him. So here he gets the mismatch against the quote-unquote mismatch against the bigger defender in Amari Williams, but Amari Williams is a fantastic defender, really strong, really good footwork, clearly has the strength advantage, and if Flagg isn't going to kind of beat him to the spot, which is a lot easier said than done against someone like Williams, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. So as he attacks to his left here, I believe that's Lamont, but no, that's Otega Owe, excuse me, does a really good job of kind of digging in, and Flagg misses the kick out to Con Knipple in the corner right here. That'd be a great kick out, wide open corner three. Flagg misses it, not ideal, but on ball, Amari Williams is using his strength, using his footwork, his agility to wall off and completely deny this drive to Cooper Flagg, who was getting there and in these positions pretty consistently when he was attacking smaller guys like Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea. Now he has someone who's bigger than him, who's stronger than him, and is probably just as quick as him, especially when Flagg's handle isn't quite where it needs to be yet. As he goes into this jump stop, we can see him kind of bobble the ball a little bit, which again eliminates the ability for him to now kick out to Knipple because always able to recover. Instead, he turns around, hand in the face early. Williams doesn't really elevate with him because he doesn't want to risk the foul, but as Flagg turns and elevates, hand in his face right there. Really tough shot, leaves it short. Not a horrible miss by any means, but this is a really tough shot from start to finish because his handle isn't quite there. The creativity in terms of on-ball creation isn't quite there yet, and when he's going against a guy who's physically his match, things can get a little tough. Bully ball looks awesome when it works. When it doesn't, and the smaller guy gets the advantage, it looks pretty rough, which is exactly what happens here with Brea, who had a tough night defensively on Cooper Flagg, but gets the best of him here. So Flagg is ISO on the wing, fantastic position to be in, and just tries to drive straight into Brea. Brea is older than him. He is strong, but this should be better from Flagg. This is just kind of a lazy approach. Where he tries to rip through. This is something that he would get away with a lot in high school, where he just kind of goes into the smaller defender's chest, overpowers him. But Brea does a really good job here of sliding his feet, cutting off the drive, walling up, being physical with him, and then timing his swipe down here and stripping the ball to perfection. Flagg's kind of hunting for the foul there. Rarely going to get it in this type of setting, especially when the defender's in this good of position. It's just you would like to see him right here when he gets walled up, try and keep that dribble alive, convert it into some sort of post up, instead of just trying to barrel through the problem, try and find a way around it. Brea does a really good job here defensively, and we just struggle to see that extra level of creativity and dynamism with Cooper Flagg's handle and just on-ball creation. This one was tough because it essentially ended the game for Duke and led to Kentucky free throws, but tough way to lose the ball. So as Flagg is going to attack downhill, little ghost screen by Knipple, no real threat to Carr at all, who does a really good job of just kind of moving his feet and defending here. So a couple clips ago, we saw a similar instance where as Flagg attacked to his left, instead of going between his legs, he went behind his back, and it was a little bit loose, but he was able to kind of corral it pretty quickly. Late game here, though, defense is extra cued in. Everyone knows that Flagg is going to be looking for his shot. He's looking for the game winner. So they're all cued in on him. And when that handle is a little loose, when you turn your back like that, that's the result more often than not is going to be a turnover there. So far, so good. But once he kind of spins, that physicality, yet again, common theme with these issues with his on-ball creation is when that physicality kind of presents itself, the handle gets even looser and that crispness disappears really quickly and bad things tend to happen. So as Flagg continues to develop physically, get stronger, tighten up his handle, it'll surely improve. But throughout this season, it won't be shocking that when he faces bigger physical defenders like this, that handle gets a little loose and sloppy in the paint. This is still the same play, but I really enjoyed this angle because it kind of shows us the height of the bounce and the looseness of the handle when Flagg comes out of the spin. So as he's coming down with his left, tries to spin back middle, loses it with his left. That's really high. That's a 50-50 ball, especially for someone of always defensive caliber. Just step in. That's an easy steal in traffic. Your handle can't be that loose in traffic, especially game on the line. It's tough. And we saw that kind of similar height level on the bounce when he went behind his back and ended up scoring, but it wasn't the end of the game. The lights are always a little bit brighter, attention always a little more focused on it in these situations. And here, the help defender's in a great spot, really opportunistic, capitalizes on the loose handle and turns him over. Flagg also showcased an ability to operate as kind of a primary facilitator as well. Not overly dynamic playmaking, but some just really effective passes that he was able to build on and adapt throughout the game. So again, he's just running another high pick and roll. We've seen him do it a myriad of times throughout this game already. Malawach is going to come set this little brush screen on Andrew Carr. Brandon Garrison's going to play at the level here. He is really high up and completely vacates the entire paint. And as he does that, Flagg sees that Jackson Robinson's glued to Con Knipple in the corner. Otega always glued to Tyrese Proctor in the corner. The perk of running these high pick and rolls right in the middle of the floor is that there isn't a clearly defined strong side, weak side on whose rotation this is. Because from an offensive perspective, it's a great mismatch. It puts the defense in a bad spot and creates all of this wide open space, especially when the defense plays high at the level, creates a ton of space for an easy bucket. So as Garrison steps up, Flagg does a great job. This is just real simple basketball. Changes his release point, uses his size, his length, his height, layers that pass over the defense, and puts it in a spot where only Malawach can get it, while also leading him directly to the rim for an easy layup. Effective. It's not flashy. It's not overly complicated, but it's really effective and makes life easier for his teammates. On top of that, what that also sets up, now if you notice the time here, this is a few minutes later, 14 on the assist. We're at like 10 and a half left in the game. Here, very, very similar situation. Malawach is going to set this high pick and roll. Flagg had a bad shooting night. I'm not going through the misses. They don't interest me. He's not shooting it well right now. Whatever. But this is if or when he continues to kind of figure out his jumper, these are the types of situations where it gets really fun because it's a nice counter. Defender stays deep that time, and Flagg pulls up from three. So in the previous clip, we just saw Malawach set a screen, drop defender plays at the level, Flagg layers it over the defense, sets up his teammate. Now they're adjusting, and they're this is Mason Gillis relocating out to the opposite corner, and they're trying to make sure that they don't give up that same easy layup that they did just a couple possessions ago. So instead, they're going under. They're daring Flagg to shoot it. Decent bet given how he shot it in this game. But long term, this is the type of potential that his combination of size and playmaking and IQ and feel can lead to if he's really going to shoot it at a high level. Punish that drop defense. Make sure that the defender can't go under you and knock down a three. One of the most fun things, as we saw in that previous series of clips with Flagg and throughout this game, was that we're seeing him adjust and adapt mid-game. So we already saw this drive earlier, but I want you to kind of note the time here. So bad drive, no space creation, good defense by Amari Williams, bad fadeaway, missed shot, missed a kick out to Knipple in the corner. All right, tough. Now, note the time. This is one possession later, almost identical situation, and Flagg doesn't make the same mistake twice. Great look, great read. Unfortunately, Proctor doesn't let it fly. So as Flagg kind of attacks downhill here, Jackson Robinson's going to help out a strong side corner. No need to do that. Don't help us out of strong side corner. But also Andrew Carr's in really good defensive position. Amari Williams is down on the block. The defense is set. The defense is in a good position, but Jackson Robinson has a lapse here, and Cooper Flagg immediately counters it as Tyrese Proctor sinks to the corner, delivers the pass right on cue, in rhythm. That shot has to go up. Robinson may get a late contest, but that's a relatively open shot. At this level, that's about as wide open as you can kind of hope to get, especially in the corner. Strong side, it's got to go up. Proctor hesitates, shot fake, doesn't get bailed out. Carr does a really good job. I love this defensive rotation here by Carr and Jackson Robinson. Testament to good coaching. Great job collapsing down. Robinson veers back. Proctor kicks out. Robinson deflects it. So instead of getting a wide open corner three, they get a broken offensive possession. But from Flagg's standpoint, this is really good kind of live in-time processing and adjustment where first possession of the second half, he misses this kick out, ends up in a bad shot. Very next possession, he's in the exact same situation, almost exact same, gets the help defender to bite and over help, makes the right read. His teammate just doesn't convert. This was probably the best display of Cooper Flagg's on-ball creation potential. IQ, field passing, all that good stuff, and it resulted in nothing. So we're not going to see this in the box score, but I really enjoyed his process here. So it kind of builds off of multiple things that we've seen throughout this breakdown. So he's going to get it, lift out of the corner. Andrew Carr's kind of fighting through this little brush screen by Knipple, and Flagg does a really good job of attacking downhill. And from here, just going to toy with Carr's momentum. A lot of change of pace, a lot of change of direction. Attacks middle, crosses back over to his right. That little hang dribble that we've seen a handful of times now, crosses back over to his left. He gets Carr kind of dancing here. Carr's going every direction. Just a step late on all of them. Now Flagg gets downhill. Carr does a good job because he's so big of kind of getting back in the way. But by the time that Flagg has already elevated, all eyes are on him. Mason Gillis is making a really, really good cut here. Flagg makes the unselfish play, dumps it off. That hesitation, though, Gillis has to go straight up there, draw the foul. Instead, he tries to get too cute with it, tries to draw a foul, and I believe that's Andrew Carr yet again. Really good swipe down, getting all ball, forcing the turnover. But from Flagg's standpoint, this is the kind of upside that we hope to see a little more consistency with in terms of his rim pressure, his playmaking, and his handle. Moving on to the defense, we're going to start with some of the bad, and then we'll wrap up with plenty of good. And a lot of this is a little nitpicking, but it's mostly undisciplined stuff that Flagg was able to kind of get away with a little more in high school. But at this level, he's going to get kind of dissected and punished for it a lot. So initially, I have no issues with his kind of help here. Since Proctor's giving up so much size and strength, he's at a huge disadvantage on this Amari Williams post-up. But by staying this deep in the paint, Flagg leaves himself with a really long closeout to Andrew Carr. Carr's a solid shooter. He ended up 2 for 3 in this game from 3, but Flagg leaves himself a really long closeout here. And just, I would prefer if he just kind of stayed here. That high hand is more than enough to kind of affect the shot, especially this late in the game. You have a 3-point lead, middle of the shot clock. You're okay with just a solid late contest here. Instead, Flagg gets a little antsy. Shot fake gets him in the air. And now, that's not where you want to be as a defender. Carr now has the entire lane to attack. There's no other rim protector on the floor. He gets downhill with ease. He draws the late rotation from Tyrese Proctor. Doesn't get there in time. It's a blocking foul. Carr finishes through the contact, through the smaller defender for the 3-point play. Instead of just giving up a contested kind of pseudo pick and pop 3 here, Flagg's over-eagerness, his youth kind of comes into play here, and just a lack of discipline to stay grounded on the shot fake leads to not only his man getting a bucket, but also leaving his teammate out to dry and tacking on another foul. This is a play that Cooper Flagg did a billion times in high school and got away with it, but he wasn't going up against someone as experienced as Lamont Butler. So, again, this goes back to the youth and the discipline. Big-time game. Got to stay a little more grounded. Got to stay a little more composed. He's 17, third game. I'm not freaking out about it, but as the season goes on, Flagg needs to be better about kind of chasing these blocks. So as Lamont Butler pushes in transition here, Flagg is really gearing up for a chase down block. He wants to swat this thing into the upper deck the way he's loading up for it. But as Lamont Butler pushes in transition, he knows exactly where Cooper Flagg is. He knows where Kobe Brea is. He knows where the help defenders are. He knows where everyone in this half of the court is. And he has a ton of experience, so he's going to get downhill, get to the rim, Little peek over his shoulder here, sees that Flagg is loading up. He already has the bigger defender on him anyways. And little shot fake, gets Flagg in the air. Butler pivots back. Cooper Flagg's momentum takes out his teammate as well. Easy dump off for the wide open layup. And it's all self-inflicted. There's no need for Flagg to be this aggressive, especially leaving this early. In high school, this was something you could get, or that he got away with a lot because of just the talent disparity, the athleticism disparity. But when you're going up against guys this experienced who are just as good of athletes, this type of stuff is really going to be detrimental to a defense because Gillis is in a good spot. Flagg takes him out of it. Last one on the, kind of concerning defensive possessions from Flagg, but this is, again, something that he did on and off in high school where he would just kind of get overeager, a little too obsessed with the ball, get caught ball watching, and it's just kind of a testament to his youth here where 4 months from now, I'd be shocked if we see this type of possession from him, but something to keep an eye on as there's no excuse for him to lose Andrew Carr like this. There's no reason for him to double. Knippel's doing a really good job of kind of moving his feet, keeping Butler out of the paint, away from the rim, and Flagg's just overeagerness, and just kind of gets overly zoned in on the ball here, leads to a wide open corner three for a solid 3-point shooter. He can't recover in time. In high school, that's something he could probably get a late contest on and affect the shooter a little bit. Not at this level, definitely not in the pros, so just keep an eye on it. He is still 17. It should improve, but again, just a testament to kind of some of the few discipline and awareness issues that just need ironing out. Enough of the nitpicking. Most of the defense was very good, especially this play. And this is where Cooper Flagg thrives as a defender with that help rim protection, that late shot blocking. So from here, inbounds play, really good communication and switch with Knippel as Otega Owe runs off the screens, curls back middle. Good pass by Butler here to feed Owe. Against most defenders, this is probably a pretty easy score, but Flagg does an incredible job of quickly elevating off the ground, locating the ball perfectly, timing his block perfectly, and swatting that against the backboard. Really, really fantastic stuff from him. There's so much upside for him and potential as a weak side shot blocker. He's already very good. It's only going to get better. Man, that's fun. The reason that I kind of nitpick on some of the defensive discipline stuff earlier is because we have overwhelming evidence of how good and disciplined of a defender Flagg can be. I absolutely love these fundamentals from him here. So he's kind of helping out on the he's the low man. He's the weak side defender here. So as they run this pick and roll, he's tasked with kind of tagging the cutter, tagging the roller, just being that low man presence in the paint. I believe that's Kriisa. Kurt Kriisa does a really good job, makes a simple read, kicks out to Lamont Butler. Great closeout here by Flagg. High hand, wide stance, great footwork. Doesn't get over eager, doesn't jump at the shot fake like we saw in that Andrew Carr clip a little bit ago. Closes out, and Butler does a really good job here of attacking middle, attacking Flagg's high foot, but Flagg does just as good of a job of immediately flipping his hips there. Look at him dance. That is really fluid footwork, really fluid hips, and great timing and reaction. And it's all because of the fundamentals and the footwork and the discipline and how low his defensive stance is. And then that allows him to not only react to the drive initially, but then completely wall off the drive. Perfect footwork, slides his feet, stays in position, doesn't bite at the shot fake, stays grounded. Butler slips, but a lot of that is because obviously there's a wet spot or something. But it's not like he had a clear basket here. Flagg does such a good job of staying attached, staying grounded, and completely shutting this play down and forcing the travel. Finally, we're just going to kind of see Flagg's help defense, the rotations, and then how he's able to kind of immediately turn good defense into pretty immediate offense. So doesn't get a bucket here, but gets the foul. So from the start here, Duke doesn't do a great job of matching up here in transition. Caleb Foster initially does a great job of running Andrew Carr off the line, and then Flagg eventually kind of gets over there, forces the kick out, forces the reset. But from here, Caleb Foster's late to recover to the ball, and his teammates don't exactly do him any favors. But that leaves Duke center kind of in no man's land, unsure of, do I take the ball and kind of contest the guy who's more than happy to pull up from midcourt, or stick with Brandon Garrison on the roll as Caleb Foster is recovering back out to the ball. There's clearly no communication here. Kriisa sees that the paint is unoccupied. He sends Garrison to the lane and just layers it over. But Cooper Flagg does a good job of rotating down, affecting the shot without fouling. Great timing on the rotation. He's there right on the catch, is able to elevate with Garrison, stays vertical, kind of swipes down at the ball, but doesn't make contact. Makes life really difficult. Not overly eager. Really good discipline from him here. Grabs the board and pushes in transition. From here, again, rim protector is now at the other end of the court, and Flagg's just going to go to work here. So nothing's overly complicated, a little hesitation, and just gets downhill. Uses his stride length, gets really low, good bend, allows him to explode, use those long strides to turn the corner, and he's getting incredibly low here. Allows him to kind of slither around Owe, gets to the rim, gets the defenders off their feet, gets them swiping down, doesn't get a bucket here, but gets a foul, gets to the line, and just kind of a fun example of him turning solid team defense, making up for a momentary lapse, and quickly turning that into a high-quality offensive look. First big test for Cooper Flagg, wearing a Duke uniform, and he just kind of gave us a little bit of everything. Some of the scoring was really good. Others struggled. The handle was all over the place and is something that he's really going to have to tighten up going forward. Overall, B+ game from him. Most of the defense was really fantastic, but you could kind of tell how amped up he was in the moment and how that kind of bled into some of his uncharacteristically undisciplined defensive possessions. He didn't shoot it well. I didn't really dive into the shooting because, frankly, it doesn't interest me all that much. I think he'll be fine as a shooter. He has yet to shoot it well so far. But the mechanics are consistent, and most of his misses in this game were depth related, where it was either short, either long. None of the misses felt horrible. Nothing felt like, oh my goodness, this needs to be reworked. So as long as the volume's there, the versatility continues to be there, and the mechanics are consistent, I think he'll be fine as a shooter. What I found way more intriguing was how he actively kind of adapted and adjusted his game based on the different defensive coverages that he saw. This is going to be one of the better defensive teams that he'll face all year, and I thought he did a really good job of kind of adjusting mid-game. For someone who should be a senior in high school this year, tough to ask for much more. So, yes, Cooper Flagg is still number one on my board. He should still be number one on your board. Was it perfect? No. Was it really good? Yes. Going forward, let's keep an eye on how does the shooting improve? Do some of those undisciplined moments on defense get cleaned up? And how does the handle look and the playmaking speed, the processing speed in terms of setting up teammates on those kickouts, how does that improve and look in January compared to how it does now?